Foodies, on today's installment of PJ Cook's Sexy Food, we're going to make that Chinese takeout staple, wonton soup. Let's begin.
So the ingredients we're going to need today is we're going to start off with 1 package of wonton wrappers, 8 ounces of ground pork, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/4 cup of finely minced green onion, and 1.5 tablespoons of finely minced water chestnuts. For our broth, for our soup, we're going to need 8 cups of chicken broth, 2 green onions, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 2 cloves of crushed garlic, and 3 slices of ginger, which are going to combine all into one pot. We're going to bring this to a simmer and let this go for about 30 minutes. Then we will fish out the garlic and the ginger and the onions, and we have our broth ready for our soup. For a bowl of our stand mixer, we're going to combine the 8 ounces of ground pork, the tablespoon of soy sauce, the teaspoon of sesame oil, the 1.5 teaspoons of cornstarch, teaspoon of ground ginger, the 1/4 cup of minced green onion, and the water chestnuts. With the paddle attachment in place, we're going to mix this until it is smooth. About a minute with the paddle attachment, I'm going to remove the paddle, tap off the excess, scrape this down, and you can see how this has become a smooth paste. We're going to transfer this over into a bowl, where actually I'm going to put it right back into the container that it was, the dish that the pork was in earlier. I'm going to wrap this with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator for anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours for the flavors to really come together. Okay guys, so it's been about 45 minutes. I took out the meat from the refrigerator. I have a little dish with some flour on it. I have a cup of water. I have a teaspoon measuring cup and a little spoon, as well as the wonton wrappers under a piece of paper towel to keep them moist. So to begin, we're going to take 1 wonton wrapper. We're going to take a scant teaspoon of the meat. You don't want any more than that because you don't want to overfill. Going to put that right in the middle of our wonton wrapper. Going to take a little water. Going to moisten the 2 edges. Going to take our wonton. Going to fold it in half from point to point, making a nice triangle. We're going to squeeze out any excess air as we go. So now we have this nice little triangle. Now we're going to take a little water, going to moisten the tip of one corner. Going to push in the middle, twist, and pinch the 2 ends together. And now we just made our first wonton. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to dip it in the flour and then place it on a piece of parchment paper that I have on a sheet pan on the side. Now I'm going to continue doing this for all the wontons. This should make approximately 30 wontons. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes. I went ahead and I made all the wontons. You can see how good they look here. And now I'm going to go to the broth. I'm going to fish out those vegetables. Okay, so our broth is completed. We're going to go in. We're going to fish out the 2 green onions, those 2 pieces of garlic, as well as those 3 slices of ginger. Okay, so our broth is now completed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up to a simmer, and we're going to introduce our wontons. And we're going to boil them for about 4 to 6 minutes. So our soup has been simmering for about 5 minutes. I put in 10 wontons to start because I'm only making enough servings for 2. The rest of the wontons on that sheet of parchment paper I have popped into the freezer. I'll let them freeze till solid, put them in a zip top bag for future use. Now it's time to plate. Nice wide soup bowl. We're going to plate our soup. We're going to go with 5 of the wontons per person. The nice amount of that broth. And to finish, for a little crunch, some water chestnuts and some green onions. Oh yeah. Here we go, baby. That is what I call sexy food. Hope you enjoy it. After making this at home, you'll never buy it from the Chinese takeout again.